Bonta. He is our guest this week. If approved by the legislature, he'll be in the second most influential job in America's most populous state. Bonta, seen here with his mom this week, would be the first Filipino-American in a position that is often a stepping stone for even bigger jobs.
The most important positions, not just in the state, arguably in the United States.
Let's take a moment to look at the last three attorneys general from California. Jerry Brown, in the job from 2007 to 2011, went on to return as California's governor for 2 terms. He'd be replaced as AG by Kamala Harris, who of course became California's senator and now the vice president of the United States. She'd be replaced as AG by Xavier Becerra, who is now the United States Secretary of Health and Human Services. In fact, this week, quite the California moment here, when California's last 2 AGs participated in Becerra's swearing-in ceremony. Rob Bonta is Governor Newsom's choice to replace Xavier Becerra. He's currently a Democratic Assemblyman representing Oakland, and he's a married father of 3. Rob Bonta, welcome to The Issue Is for the first time.
Thank you, Alex. I'm honored to be here. Thanks for having me.
After that intro, what job are you going for after this one? No, I'm kidding. You don't have to say that. Let's start with the question that I ask every candidate who's going for a job, and we appreciate this is the first interview you've done since being named into this role. Why do you want this job?
I want to make the fights of everyday people my fights and be their champion, fight for them, do more justice, help people, and solve problems.
I think we should get to know you a little bit. A lot of folks watching on our station, KTVU in the Bay Area, are very familiar with your work, but people watching on some of our other stations are just learning about you this week. Let's talk for a moment about your background. It's quite a story. Your childhood. You were born in the Philippines, but you came here as a baby. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, my parents, both lifelong social justice advocates and activists. My parents were working in the Philippines as missionaries, serving people, helping others. And when I was born in Quezon City, Philippines, and Ferdinand Marcos was the president at the time. He was inching ever closer to his now infamous declaration of martial law. And when I was 2 months old, my parents moved to California, and specifically to a very special place called La Paz, the headquarters of the United Farm Workers of America movement outside of Bakersfield in the Tehachapi Mountains. And they continued their service, their activism, their fight for social justice as farm worker organizers with the United Farm Workers of America.
And of course, the leaders of that organization, Cesar Chavez, Dolores Huerta, you actually lived in a trailer very close to Cesar Chavez. And as an adult, you've worked very closely with Dolores Huerta. What did they do to shape your worldview?
I learned some deep and important lessons about equality and also about justice, that an injustice against one is an injustice against all. And that it is critical and important and valuable to fight for justice.
You know, this week, when Governor Newsom made the big announcement, your mom was on hand for that. We have a photo of you with your mom after that. And I thought a lot about this journey that your mom must have been on to go to escape political oppression in the Philippines, to come here, to live literally in a trailer, and then to have this moment this week where she watched her son be nominated as the Attorney General of the state. What did she say to you in that moment?
She said to me what she says to me so often, that she loves me and that she's proud of me. And that has been a fuel for me and an anchor and foundation of support. You know, speaking of her journey, she was on a journey for 3 weeks on a boat from the Philippines to California when she stepped on American soil for the first time at 28 years old as an immigrant. She fought for farm worker rights, as you said, in a trailer. She worked in the preschool there with Dolores Huerta while my dad was in the front office with Cesar Chavez. She continued to fight against the declaration of martial law and the oppressive rule of Ferdinand Marcos for years until the People Power Revolution of 1986. And she was a lawful permanent resident in this country for decades until 2010, when I had my first competitive election for city council in my hometown of Alameda, and she became a citizen so she could vote for me. Wow. So my mom has been my biggest supporter and my biggest inspiration for as long as I can remember.
As a mama's boy, I love hearing that. You would, of course, be the first Filipino-American Attorney General at a time when anti-Asian hate is really in the news. You talked about this a lot during your announcement this week. In that job, as being the chief law enforcement officer in the state of California, what is your specific plan to punish anti-Asian hate?
Well, it's multidimensional, and let me just first say that the Asian American community, and I know this from lived experience, from personal experience, as a member of the API community, is in a state of crisis right now. It's a full-on state of emergency. We had once seen individuals, spit on and yelled at, later pushed down and punched in the face and assaulted, and now being murdered. And so it is really important for the people's attorney, the chief law officer of the state of California, to see and value our API community and to care. And also to take action. So and there are important steps that we can take, including getting an anti-hate hotline that's up and running. But the most important thing is to prioritize and to care and to see these attacks in our community and be committed to taking action.
Well, we're glad to hear that not only you, but the entire Bonta family is passionate about this issue, including your dog. So we appreciate his her passion. Yeah. As a member of the Assembly, you championed a proposition to eliminate cash bail in California, and voters turned it down. Why were they wrong?
Well, I deeply believe in the will of the voters, and listened very clearly to what they were saying. And what I believe they were saying is that money bail is fundamentally unfair, unjust, and unsafe. But we're not yet convinced that the replacement system put forward in the proposition and in SB 10 is the right one or the best one. To me, there's no doubt that the money bail system, cash bail, is wrong, is unjust, unfair, unsafe, needs to be changed.
On a policy perspective, I know you've supported George GASCON, who is LA County District Attorney, who has a lot of supporters and some detractors as well, who feel that he's maybe gone too quickly on some of these criminal justice reform issues and wish that he didn't have such blanket policies. What do you say to some of those critics? And is what we're seeing with him something we might be seeing with you statewide?
I'm my own person with my own approach. I have the values that I just set forth around fighting for opportunity, equity, justice, and inclusion. And I've been in the legislature for 8+ years. I think people have had the chance to see my record, see the way I operate. I listen, I collaborate, I identify solutions, I try to find common ground, and I will continue to do all of that.
All right, let's play a quick game to get to know you better. This is where we have some fun. This is called Personal Issues. We put 30 seconds on the clock. These are rapid-fire questions. All right, are you ready?
Yes,
this is
I
the
think
hard
so.
part. Okay.
Probably not, but I'll do my best.
What's your favorite TV show?
Oof. You're killing me on this. CNN.
Okay. Favorite band or musician?
Lupe Fiasco.
Oh, nice. Favorite sports team?
Manchester United. Sorry to all the other EPL fans.
Yeah.
But Manchester
He
United.
was a great soccer player in the past. Favorite sports, favorite meal?
Oof. Spaghetti and meatballs.
Very nice. And one last question. You're also a father of 3. How have your kids shaped your worldview? What have you learned from them?
Alex, of all the titles I've had, my favorite is always going to be being dad. And my kids are everything. I have 3 of them. They're the joy of a lifetime for me, Reina, Ileana, and Andres. And they ground me in everything I do. I want to help fight for and create a future that I would be proud for them to live in. And, they have taught me that I need to do more and do better to address the climate crisis, and have informed me that I need to do more to address gun violence. And that gives me the fire to fight every day to turn those things into a reality.
Love hearing that. And just lastly, tell us about your dog.
Gosh, I mean, he's been trying to edge his way in this entire time. So his name is Legolas. We got him from a shelter. He's named after the character from Lord of the Rings, Legolas. Lego for short. and he clearly likes to talk. My apologies for your interview not just being of me, but of being of the two of us.
You know what? As somebody else who loves to talk, you can't hold it against him. Assemblyman Rob Bonta, thanks so much, and best of luck to you in the confirmation process ahead.
Thank you, Alex. It's an honor to join you. Thanks for having me.